Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the RGM Experience podcast with me, Carl Maloney. How are you doing? You all right? Just getting a little frog out the throat there. Welcome to the podcast. Another week here, delving into the music industry, the grassroots music industry and beyond, and finding interesting people within it. And today we've got Joel from the Rifles. Hey up, pal.
Hey up.
Hey up, you all right? Well, I've got you on the show, mate, because I have to be honest, I am quite new to the band myself. I know you've been going a while, and
Quite a while, yeah.
yeah, no, I wanted to get to know you and find out more about the history of the band. You've just had a new album out as well that's just been doing great stuff. So I wanted to have a chat, shoot the shit, get to know you and the lads a bit more, and share all good things about the Rifles. There we go.
Cool.
Paperwork's out of the way. So Joel, so how are you doing today, then, mate? You just finished work, having a beer, that kind of stuff. Yeah,
Yeah,
chill.
just got in from work, yeah. Just
Right.
sort of settling down.
Yeah, so the it must be the dream to eventually not have to do the day job, really, I suppose, with music. Is that the dream for you?
Um I kinda like my work as well. So
Okay.
it's a weird one. Yeah,
Mm.
for me. I guess when we first started,
Yeah.
that was the dream.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
yeah, I kinda like a routine. I'm like the
nice.
ultimate non-rock star.
Yeah. I suppose you've got the best of both worlds then, really. You like your job and you've got this thing that you can go and do and show off on stage at some points as well.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's cool. Yeah. More
Yeah.
money would be good, but what are you gonna do about
Yeah, I hear you, mate. I hear you.
it? I could have a day off then when I want.
Yeah. So do you work for yourself or are you employed by the man or?
I'm not by the man as such. Friend,
Yeah.
I work with friends. Yeah,
Yeah, nice one. Right. So let's delve into the history of the Rifles then. So I was just having a little look on the notes. So your first album was out in 2006. So that must feel like a lifetime away.
yeah. I mean, it goes quick, doesn't it? But it feels like madness to think it's nearly 20 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. So how long, when did the band start then? Take me back to the origins of when you first started wanting to do this thing called being
Well, I went to a music college to. Basically, I want to do sound engineering.
all right.
I went to a music college to do that, and part of the criteria is you had to play an instrument,
Mm,
and then through the course you had to be in bands and stuff like that.
mm,
So as soon as you got there, you can suss out the people on the same page as yourself. Do you know what I mean? So you'd have heavy metalers that all go
yeah.
over there
Yeah.
in their black t-shirts, and there was like a few people. So and Luke in the band with me, he was at the college. So instantly I thought I've got to go and have a chat with him because like we're obviously on the same sort of page or whatever. And then we sort of started our own band outside of the music college thing. And that's how the band started. And it was got like I went to school with Rob all my life, who's the bass player in the band. And then a friend of a friend knew Grant, played the drums, and that's kind of how the band started. So that was probably a couple of years before the first album.
I can remember doing a music course. It was part of being unemployed, but I think it was similar kind of time, really. I was playing in bands around 2003, 2004, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I was unemployed at the time, learnt the guitar because I had time on my hands, and I did a
Yeah.
thing called New Deal. Labour had just brought it in
Yeah, I
years.
think that. Yeah, I remember it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and it was a course at Darnell Music Factory in Sheffield where you did things like Cubase and that kind of stuff and learn
Yeah, that's it.
how
Yeah.
to program music and piss around and meet like-minded people and just it yeah
Well, they said they'd done sound engineering, and when I got there, they had a 4-track tape recorder.
okay, yeah, okay.
And I had one in my house for about 3 years prior to that, so I was a bit disappointed with the actual, the quality of the sound engineering side of it.
Ours
But
was one of them. It were a mini disc one though. Remember them?
yeah, yeah, I do.
It was like right posh. You thought, oh, they've just got this new mini disc 4 track thing in there, and you could
Yeah,
bounce tracks, and you could probably get about 10 tracks out of it properly.
yeah.
When you learn how to do it and all that kind of stuff. So were you interested in the mechanics behind making music at that stage? Then is that why you went
I
into it?
just, I enjoyed recording and stuff like that. So,
Yeah,
but I still do. I still really enjoy that
yeah.
side of it.
What was it?
The new album is the first album that we recorded ourselves. So.
Oh, right. Okay, I got you. So what was it about wanting to learn that attracted you to it? So it's like most people I speak to, they learn a guitar, start a band, and that kind of stuff. But not a lot of people I speak to are into the technical side of things behind. How did you get?
Yeah, I did. I mean, I did not go to start this course to join a band at all.
Yeah,
it just sort of evolved from there, really. I don't know. I just like the way things sound, and sort of, I guess,
yeah,
I felt like I wanted to sort of learn how to do that.
yeah. So what was the biggest surprise when you started to learn these things? What was like the first thing that you thought, oh, that's interesting. I could, I can keep at this.
What with regards to the sound engineering thing?
Just, yeah, sound engineering, that kind of stuff. But
I
because
guess you probably getting a 4-track at home
yeah,
and learning how to layer up things and build stuff up was sort of opens up doors, doesn't it? So that's the most basic form of that, isn't it? Like a 4-track tape recorder. And I just like the idea of having loads of, like, a big studio with a big desk and all that. I don't think you really need that now, but especially like the quality of the stuff you can get on your laptop and with some good microphones. And that's kind of the point, because I opened a studio about a year and a half ago, really just to track, because I think the only thing you can't really record indoors with a couple of good mics is drums.
Yeah.
So I opened the studio to really, for bands, rather than go and spend, I don't know, X amount of money a day in a studio. You might go to an unbelievable studio, £800 a day or something like that, and they're going to put a microphone in front of an amplifier. There's no point in. You don't need Abbey Road to put a microphone in. The room's not doing anything. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sort of thing. So I think once you've got the drums recorded, you're better off buying a little setup at home and recording it all yourself.
Yeah.
That was kind of my point of opening the studio, to track drums. And then, and then rather than you waste a lot of time in the studio, unless you're on it before you get in there. You waste so much time in the studio, sort of. You might do a part and then go, I don't really like that. But you've got the luxury at home and no cost to sort of, sit there and just try stuff out without the clock ticking,
Well, it's kind of, you learn that with experience, don't you? Because studio time, it's so expensive, and if you don't prepare, if you're not rehearsed to do what you plan to do, you can waste so much time playing stuff wrong and doing retakes and moving stuff here, getting your sound right over there. If you're not prepared for studio time, you waste so much money and time, and that's kind of, it comes with age, I suppose. That kind of experience, doesn't it? Learning that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and a lot of the time, I feel like you'll do a demo or something like that, and you're always trying to chase a demo because it had some sort of charm about it that you liked, that you'd never get again in the studio. Yeah. So if you can, maybe that's just because the red light ain't on and you're not in that sort of environment where I've got to nail this.
Yeah.
Because you're in the studio and you're relaxed more and better stuff comes out. You get that at home, but the quality is never good enough. Yeah. But actually nowadays it can be, I think.
Yeah. So just to rewind a little bit, what was Little Joel like before you started to get into sound engineering and music? What were you like at school? Just, what was Little Joel like before you started into this path of music?
I was good at football. Right. That was sort of my thing when I was younger. And then it's I think this is a good story anyway. I like telling this one. But sort of, I went to a school, and then one day I went up to the music room. There was a kid playing the guitar. So I was into music, but I used to have sort of like turntables and stuff like that sort of thing. I always liked music, but wasn't really into. I never thought about playing an instrument. Yeah. And then there's a kid who's a year below me playing the guitar. I thought, he sounds unreal, this kid. Anyway, so I don't know. A few months later, it was my birthday, and so I said I'd like a guitar. So luckily, I've got parents that would, you know what I mean, get anything like that I sort of showed a interest in, like I got a guitar, and then I learned the guitar, and then me and the kid started writing and stuff like that. Oh, sorry, I've lost you there.
Ah,
Gotcha. Started writing, and he was the first person I sort of like started writing songs with and all that. But I always thought in my head, he's unreal, this kid on a guitar. And it turns out he's now Judas Priest guitarist.
oh, there you go.
Yeah. So Richie Faulkner, his name is.
Oh, nice.
So that was my sort of move into actually playing instruments and getting into music. But prior to that, it was more sort of football, I guess.
And you mentioned turntables there.
Yeah.
So talk me through
But,
that.
well, like a set of decks.
Yeah.
So just mixing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
like not
So,
band stuff. It was
yeah.
more sort of house music and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. So a completely different style. I've always been a little bit down on DJs, particularly as a
Mm.
music background. I always kind of like, I enjoy winding them up, just saying, oh, all you're doing is playing somebody else's music and
Yeah.
spinning a record and that kind of stuff. I do enjoy winding up DJs and that kind of stuff. Could you have gone down that route at some point?
Nah, it was just a thing that I was young at the time and everyone was listening to that sort of music and sort of that was that. You know, I didn't really have I guess I wanted to get on a pirate radio station or something like that. That would have been the goal.
Yeah, they were good times. The word completely different times then. So is this like 2000 and onwards? Is this the kind of time scale we're looking at?
Yeah, 2000, probably a bit before that, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Yeah, the good old 90s. They were all right, weren't they?
Yeah, they were
What,
good.
what did you enjoy doing in the 90s? What kind of bands were you into at that stage?
Well, the 90s, it would have obviously been Oasis and stuff like that. They was the first sort of band. The good thing about, I mean, like I said, I was always into music, but the first band that all my mates were into that wasn't necessarily into music at the time.
Yeah.
But you go down a local pub, our local pub was the first pub you could get served in, sort of thing. Everyone was just putting Oasis on the jukebox, and it was just a cool thing that happened where everyone in one place was all into this band. Do you know what I mean? So it was the first time that happened.
They were my band. I must be a similar age to you. I remember similar kind of things in the pub, being handed a tape with Supersonic on it and it changing your life and
Yeah,
follow. What kind of stories did you go to the gigs and that kind of stuff? Did you have a pint of piss poured over you? Did you do all the?
probably
Did you do?
not willingly,
Yeah, sure. Well, yeah,
but probably unknowingly I had piss thrown on me. Yeah, but no, yeah, I went to a Nebworth, and it was yeah, done all that.
yeah, nice. So music started. Um, so the actual musicality type of thing then. So how did you? What steps did you do to learn a music instrument? And how did you get into actually playing these things?
Well, like I said,
Mm,
the kid at school, Richie Faulkner,
yeah.
was sort of he inspired me to want to learn the guitar. And then I bought a Jimi Hendrix greatest hits because everything he played like was Jimi Hendrix back when we was at school. Bought Jimi Hendrix greatest hits, and I just fucking did not stop.
Yeah.
As soon as I walked in from school, I go upstairs and learn the guitar, and I picked it up really quickly.
Mm.
I was trying to learn more lead stuff, and then after a certain amount of time, I started to get into sort of try and put chords together and make songs up. And then I sort of left the lead stuff behind. It was more about rhythm and just getting chords together. So he was definitely the catalyst for that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was the easy bit rhythm guitar. That's what I played when I were in bands. It's the nice easy bit. It don't really matter. If you play a wrong chord, nobody really notices. But if you do it on a lead guitar, it's very
Well,
noticeable.
I mean, the lead guitar side of it is great, but you can't play the lead and write a song to the lead. Do you know what I mean? Like you just learn over time that comes once you've got the structure of the song, sort of thing.
So how did you build up to the first debut album then? What was happening around you? How did you get into a position to record an album? Because once you've recorded an album, you're not a new band anymore. You're an experienced band, really, because you've got an album out and you've got the experience of putting all these songs together and making it happen. how did you? What was happening for the Rifles just before the band? How did you start to see progression and earn having been able to do an album?
Well, we was really lucky that a man called Dougie Bruce, who works for Universal Publishing,
Right.
he saw us playing a gig or whatever, liked us, so they give us a deal before we'd got a record deal or anything like that, just to concentrate on making more songs and stuff like that. So we got a little chance. I went and got a job part time at Walthamstow Dog Track just so I could get a bit of money, but it freed up that rest of the day because it was only like a morning thing, like a cleaning job. But it gave us the opportunity to sort of just concentrate more on the music. So that was a massive help. And then after that,
what did they see in you to give you that publishing deal, though? What was there a vibe around you down south at the time?
not really. No, we were just playing gigs We had some songs. They obviously heard it and saw something in it. Yeah. There was no real buzz. Obviously, just probably just friends coming to the gigs and stuff like that. Because I don't know who else would have heard about us at the time. But that's what they do. That's their job, isn't it? To go and scout. I mean, I don't know how they do it now. It's just done online.
That's just how different the industry is now. Back to
they just gauge you on how many hits you got. Basically, I think now.
Yeah, so you got the publishing deal then. So what did that mean for you at the time and the band?
Sorry, I missed that last bit, Cole. Because
just with the publishing side of it, what difference did that make for you as a band?
I suppose it gives you a nice boost anyway, to sort of think actually we might be all right, and not only that, just a little bit more money so we could sort of just concentrate on that. It's huge. I mean, I suppose at the time, looking at it now and how life is now, we didn't need any money anyway back then. But I guess it's just a vote of confidence, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, nice. So you got the chance to record this debut album. How did you go about?
Well, we didn't get a chance. That come later. Obviously, we sort of then developed more songs and stuff like that. Right. And then Ian Brody heard the songs and really liked them and said he wanted to record us. So that, again, another massive boost. And then we finally got a record deal to go and record it with him. So
talk us a little bit more about the relationship with Ian then. How did that develop?
I think he just liked it, and he was sort of like, he was behind us. I think he worked for the label at the time as well. So he kind of said, I'm going to record this band if you sign them or not. Do you know what I mean? Sort of thing. So I guess that was, again, a vote of confidence for the label, really, to sort of think, well, he's obviously sees something in them. So that's how that happened. And it was great working with Ian because I think he's incredible.
Yeah, what was it like? One of the biggest things you learned from Ian as this person in the industry that's there doing it already. One thing I've learned, and I still I think his president is. It's about the sound. He spent a lot of time getting the sounds right, and then so basically it doesn't come really down to the mix. But I mean, we spent about a day trying to get the right snare sound on one song. Now you're thinking, is it that important? But it did turn out really good. So he's kind of I think you got to have a good song. Yep.
Your instruments need to sound good, and you need to play it well.
Yeah.
It
sounds like that's too obvious to give advice.
It's too obvious, but a lot of people go, oh, we'll do that in the mix, or we'll make that good in the mix and things like that. But things like the Corals' first album, if you listen to that album, it sounds unreal. And I went, what did you put on his voice and what this and that? He went, no, that's just like that. That's how it come out of the amp. And do you know what I mean? Things like that. They're obviously very good at playing. And you just spend time getting everything sounding really good from the get-go, and you can't fail.
Yeah, that's good advice. You know, it is almost too simple just to
fundamental.
Yeah, definitely. So once you got your album out, then did you feel
a good song helps though?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. That always helped. But once you got that album out, did you feel different as a band? Was there more emphasis on it and going for it once you've got this your first album out of the way? Did things change a little bit or not?
I guess they did to a degree. It's quite hard to remember now.
Yeah.
I guess they did. They did to a degree.
So just keeping everything simple seems like it seems like daft advice really, because you should really do that anyway. But when you're in
But
the
yeah,
environment,
spend time making the actual instruments sound good
yeah, yeah,
and make sure they're recorded correctly.
yeah. Do you still have a relationship with Ian now?
I mean, we get on really well when we see each other. Yeah, well, I don't speak to him, but
Yeah.
obviously, unless I bump into him, but yeah, we get on really good.
Yes.
He's lovely. He's a
Yeah.
great man.
So how did things change after having your first album then? Did it feel different?
It probably did at the time, but then obviously we're straight on a second album, and it's a bit hard. The first album you got lots of time because you don't realize you're going to record an album. You're just writing,
Mm.
and then the next time you know you're going to record an album, so it's a bit of a different sort of feeling, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've been lucky to go and record in some really nice studios.
Yeah. So
Well, the
like,
second album,
well,
we
that's what I'm
spent a
going
lot.
to say. The second album, the famous Hard Work second album. How did you find the build up to that? Was there more expectation? Did you still have the publishing deal? Was there pressure from above? Talk us through the transition.
It wasn't really. I mean, there wasn't really. No, we recorded it. We recorded that album. Some of it in London in Conch Studios, which is like Ray Davies' studio, and then we recorded some of it in Leaders Farm, which is in Norfolk, which is cool. That was like a residential place. I don't know. I never felt no pressure really.
Yeah.
Just wanted to make good songs, and that was that.
So no difficult second album vibes or anything like that. How did you feel about it?
Not really. No, I mean,
Oh,
we just
okay.
wanted to make the songs good.
Yeah.
I got no desire to be famous. Do you know what I mean? So it wasn't like I don't care about that really. So it's more about just writing songs that we thought were good.
And how do you make a song good?
Well, you're son of your own opinion anyway, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just I guess you have to enjoy it yourself, and that's it, really, because you can't please everyone.
Yeah. Well, did you have to think about the length of your songs to? Because back in those days, to get it on radio, it can't be any more than 3.5 minutes or whatever, unless you've got no chance. Did you have to think about even like those things back in the day?
Probably did, but I mean, our band are quite sort of they're catchy songs, and it's sort of it's not like Pink Floyd. Do you know what I mean? So we didn't really need to sort of trim them up too much, anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I feel like I'm getting to know you a little bit, Joel, but I'd like to hear a little bit about the other lads and their influence on the success of the band, really. So, talk us through the other band members and the strengths and weaknesses for each one.
Well, that's an hard one to sort of.
I know.
For me, that's a tough question. I'd rather they just spoke for themselves, to be honest. See, me and Luke work completely differently. I'm quite methodical, and I could sit there and listen to the same thing over and over again. Luke's kind of in the moment. Do you know what I mean? He needs to just do something, and then he comes out with these things. But I have to sit there and know what's going on in my head, so it kind of works nice. Do you know what I mean? So, and I quite happily, once he's come up with something, sort of sit there and sort of work out what we can use that. Do you know what I mean? Sort of thing. So we work differently in that.
That's a big strength for him. What's a weakness for him?
Timekeeping.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, he'll laugh at that. He'll agree with that.
Fair enough. And the other lads?
They're just solid. Like they're solid. Grant to turn up, he'll just nail it. Rob will just nail it. They're solid.
You must bring a little bit more than that, surely.
Nah.
Something funny, something now, don't they?
I love them. You know what I mean? But yeah, they bring a lot more than that. Of course
Yeah,
they do.
yeah.
But
Like
I
what?
mean, it's always been me and Luke literally sort of getting the songs, the actual melodies and all that stuff together. They're kind of a backbone. Um, Rob and Grant, in the sense I think too many opinions when you're trying to write a song. Every band works differently, but for me, I find it difficult when there's too many opinions.
Yeah. Oh, interesting.
But
So,
I can totally rely on them to sort of nail the rhythm section.
well, you mentioned earlier that when you were younger, you wanted the holy grail of having a career in the music industry. So how did that desire change then to, you being happy, you enjoy your job and you enjoy doing the music?
I never said I wanted the holy grail of
Yeah.
having a career.
Oh, go on
No,
then.
no,
Yeah,
no.
you mentioned a little, and I mentioned the holy grail of it earlier a little bit, and you said when you were earlier, you might have wanted that. I was just got touching.
Not really. No,
Oh,
no. I've never sort of wanted. I've kind of like just sort of started happening, and like I said, I didn't even want to be in a band. I just wanted to do sound engineering. Um, that's never been a desire. It's just kind of I enjoy writing music and making songs up, and it just evolved from there. Really,
yeah. Okay. Well, how long has the band been together now then? What we on now? So the first album
well,
came.
it'd be the best part of 20 years, just over probably because I think it's a year or two, 2006. So it'd be like 2 years, and a couple of years prior to that, we started the band. So yeah, just over 20 years.
Yeah. So how was writing the third album, coming out in, yeah, but just coming out this month, having your third album? How what was there quite a big gap in between albums then?
There's probably been loads of gaps. We're not very punctual.
Got you.
Um,
Was that life getting in the way, or just parking?
Probably around that point.
Yeah.
Now it's really hard,
Yeah.
really hard with families and work and this and that. It wasn't back then, but it probably is harder, a lot harder now to get together. Just to get together is
Yeah.
hard work.
So what's the main themes behind the new album then? Talk us about that then. Sell the new album to us. Let's have a chat about
I
that.
think the new album we kind of because we've got an unbelievable like loyal cult fan base, if you like, and a big part of that is the live gigs, where everyone sort of there's a lot of singing along going on and stuff like that. So we didn't want to go. I just felt like me and Luke made a conscious decision to revert a little bit, not try and what they say, remake the wheel. What's the word? Reinvent the wheel. And write an album that sort of will play well live, and it'll make for a good gig live. That was quite a conscious thing. So in that sense, it probably went a little bit backwards more towards the first album because a lot of the fan base, like the first album, there's a lot of jumping around and singing and stuff like that. And then I guess topically, it's the same sort of thing, but it's more lyrically about where we are now with life and like this and that, and life's hard. There's always something to do. Like what I'm saying, just meeting up with each other's hard. So it's the same sort of music, if you like, same feel, but just different subjects. Because obviously 20 years ago, we weren't worrying about taking your kid to football training and things like that. And
it is so hard to get four or five people just in the same place at the same time. Just everybody's so busy, work commitments, family stuff, just traveling. You might not live quite close to each other. Just all these different type of things make it so hard work. So what I'm trying to say. So the new album came out. I'm just looking at the stats on it. I got it from your socials the other day. So Love Your Neighbor. Why Love Your Neighbor? Tell us about that.
Well, that really stemmed from. So I go to the studio. I wrote. I'd like the different pieces of music. So I phoned Luke up on the way to the studio and said, "Just give me a few subjects to write about. I'm not going to, and I'll write a song about that, just as a little experiment."
Yeah.
And he said, "Well, I've got this neighbour who he grows sunflowers, and then when they've grown, he drops them off to like all his neighbours that he gets on with. So there's a song on the album called Mr. Sunflower. So that's totally about him. But within seconds, I just sort of something clicked, wrote it in no time at all, like the lyrics and the melody, and just that concept, love your neighbour, comes spawned from that. It seems like a lot of people don't get on. I just thought it was a nice, what's the word?
So only some of his neighbours got sunflowers then. So there's some people.
Yeah, the ones that he don't like.
He must not like them.
No. Well, you don't live near him, so I never got one either. That makes you feel better.
Oh no, I'm not. I'm on about his other neighbours that didn't get one.
Right, yeah. The ones that didn't get one, they obviously don't get on.
Fair enough. So,
where that love your neighbour come from? I just like I like the sentiment.
Yeah, I like that. Well, it was number one in the independent
get
album
on that bit more.
Yeah, I agree with that. So number one in the independent album charts, 2 in the physical all album charts. I'm just reading your stats here, mate. 2 in the vinyl albums, 7th in CD, 9 in the downloads chart. It must be quite pleased with that, just
a new album. Really happy. Obviously, you can't compete with the Taylor Swifts and people like that when it comes to sort of hits and downloads and things like that. But it's nice to know that people have actually gone out and bought the physical. That's kind of big for us.
Well, I'm just looking into, you come to Sheffield as well, Don Valley Bowl with the boys. I've had Joe Cornell Jr. on the podcast before from Millburn. That you're supporting them at the Rock and Roll Circus, so that looks like something to look forward to up north in my home city.
Yeah, you gonna go?
Well, what date is it on actually? Can you remember?
I couldn't tell you off the top of my head. I know I'm coming straight back off holiday to go to it.
Oh yeah, nice, man.
But we're good. Like Joe's a really good friend of mine, so it's always nice to just go and see them anyway. So it's going to be a good day for us.
Yeah, man. And what else is coming up for the Rifles then? What can we look forward to this summer when we get a summer?
If we get one, yeah. We're not doing that much over the August sort of period. I think we've got more gigs penciled in because we've just done quite a few gigs because the album got put back.
Yeah,
but we was already scheduled to play the gigs we've just done in the hope that the album will be out. So we've got more sort of scheduled towards the back end of the year.
Yeah, so watch this space type thing for gigs.
What's the what?
Watch this space for more gigs to be announced.
Yeah. There will definitely be more gigs towards the back end of the year and into the early New Year. So, it'd be good. It'd be nice to actually play the songs. Now everyone knows them, if you like, because we obviously went and played these gigs anyway and played some new ones, but it's a totally different atmosphere if you don't know the song.
Yeah, too right. So, Joel, I've really enjoyed getting to know you today. So you mentioned your cult following of fans there. Have you got a message for them that might be watching this, that have supported you through the years?
No, I think they know full well like how important they are to us because we let them know it whenever we can. Do you know what I mean? So I don't think they need to hear anything that they haven't heard before. That we wouldn't be able to do it unless people come and watched us and bought the album. So we're grateful for that. But like I said, we don't hide the fact that we're grateful for that. And we're lucky.
So you're going to give the new album a bit of space to breathe and a fourth album? Anything planned or considered there?
Fourth album?
Yeah.
We've had 6 albums out, so.
Oh, sorry, 6. Oh, I thought you were on your 3rd. Sorry, I must have got mistaken there.
No, we've had
another new album then.
Yeah, another album. Yeah, we'll see.
There we go. We'll see. Well, Joel, thanks for joining us for an edition here at the podcast. Within the description of this podcast, you can download the album, you can buy yourself a vinyl, you can check out the band, you can check the socials, give them a follow, buy a gig ticket, enjoy the band, enjoy everything about them. And yeah, mate, Joel, I really appreciate your time after work today, spending 45 minutes with us today. And I just wish you all the best for everything. And thanks for joining us.
Cheers, Cole.
Thanks,
Nice
mate.
to
How you
chat
doing?
with you, mate.
You too,
All
pal.
right, take it easy.